Hey, good morning. I'm Lottie, and this is Resilient Nature, a podcast about everything outdoors. Um, Today, we're going to be talking about climate adaptive agriculture and sustainable farming solutions. So, picture this: you're staying in a field you grew up on, soil used to be super rich. You're pulling sweet potatoes out that look like they could belong in a museum, but now dust, cracked earth, rain's coming later, not at all. And instead of the soil, all you hear is the wind. But here's the wild part. This ain't just happening somewhere else. It's happening in Kenya, Cali, North Carolina, and low key in our backyards. The issue on the table is climate driven agriculture. We're talking extreme droughts, soil degradation, food security, and whole communities losing the land kept that they kept their family fed for generations. Droughts now lasting 2 to 3 times longer in every region worldwide. Global crop yields are dropping, especially in dry lands where over 2 billion people live. Soil erosion strips 24 billion tons of fertile soil every year. Local global impact. It's happening locally. Farmers struggle with low yields, rising irrigation costs, and livestock deaths. Even myself being in North Carolina, I do small farming on just 2 acres of my property, and I'm having to go to the local extension office and different resources in order to get different soil amendments every year, and the cost is going up. Um, the degraded soils mean less carbon stored, more CO2 released, and more climate instability. And this is all in smallholder farms in Africa, low income rural U.S. communities, indigenous farmers, anyone depending on land, livestock, and fresh water. Look, I know some folks are like, man, climate change ain't my day to day concern, but I'm worried about feeding my kids with my farm now. So it helps me kind of see the problem head on. Um Keeping gas in my truck and keeping the farm loans approved. I feel that as a dad, a student, and a farmer myself, this is exactly what matters. Your future yields, the price of chicken feed, your water bill, even insurance premiums, all of it loops back to our climate and soil health. Farmers face 40% yield loss from climate driven droughts. They use terracing, agroforestry, and water harvesting. Soil organic matter increased, runoffs dropped, and yield rebounded. And the reason it worked, they rebuilt natural systems instead of fighting against them, all with drought smart farming. Being with climate adaptive agriculture in North Carolina, NC farmers use cover crops, reduce tillage, and native tree borders. Farms became more flood resilient and drought resilient. Biodiversity returned. Soil carbon storage went up. These strategies aren't just for big operations with $1 million budget. It could be done right here on my farm as well as yours. From a 1 acre homestead to a backyard garden, you can use these same moves. Here on my 7 acre property, I've done so much. Being in these classes from when I first joined Unity, I've learned so much in each class. I keep my notes to the side because it's something I learned that I don't want to forget. And even just now doing this project, I'm taking things and putting these notes to the side of things I can do. Um, some communication strategies. A young farmer named Amani trying to keep her family farm alive despite worsening droughts. Amani stands in her field looking at the soil used to be dark and rich. She barely pulling half the yield. her parents used to, but after joining a local climate smart farming program, she learned to plant cover crops. And that's something to take note on what a cover crop really is. And collect rainwater season by season. The land recovers now, and not only is her farm producing again, but she's teaching her neighbors too. Comparisons to hypotheticals. Um, think of soil like our skin. You strip it constantly, or your scalp, strip it constantly, washing your hair, shampooing it. You got to keep putting moisture back in. Your oils, your Vaselines, your conditioners. So no moisture, no protection. It dries up, it cracks, it stops doing its job. Cover crops and organic matter, the lotions, the shea butters, the cocoa butter, all of that, it keeps our soil alive. The most essential takeaways are that the health of soil is the foundation, not just an accessory. Climate smart practices can revive land anywhere from Kenya right to here to North Carolina. Local actions got to be taken. Your backyard to your farm, your school garden, it affects our global cycles. The carbon cycle, degraded soil releases CO2, helps soil stores it. With the nitrogen cycle, fertilizer overuse disrupts soil microbes and balances in waterways. Water and cycle, poor soil causes runoff, plus flash floods. Healthy soils store rainwater. What we can contribute as humans or people is, or what we contribute to the degradation as humans is deforestation, over-tillage, chemical overuse, and monoculture farming. The planetary boundaries and sustainable connections. The soil crisis touches two major planetary boundaries: climate change and land system change. By rebuilding soils, farmers help stabilize climate and biodiversity. Two critical boundaries we're currently exceeding. Start small, but start now. Plant cover crops this season. Reduce tilling. And compost or mulch to protect the soil. Support local farmers using sustainable methods. Push community workshops and soil testing programs. And you can do that with the programs with your local extension offices, some of the local universities in your area as well. You don't need 500 acres to make a difference. You just need the willingness to start where you stand. Thank you, guys.